Hey everyone, welcome to a video for Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards. Any games from this series will contain explicit content, gore, sexual content, violence, language, all the bad stuff that you're not supposed to like or enjoy. So if that stuff offends you, please turn off the video now. Again, there is a warning for awesome, mature content and profanity. Any of these videos in this series will have these. There is no way around it in showing off the content. Therefore, again, if this stuff offends you at any point or before you watch the video, please turn it off rather than complain about it. That is your final warning. Thank you. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for the Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards game. This is for, I have to focus there. Alright, we just need to see the title. This is for the Annihilation Spellbox, which originally was supposed to be released just for Gen Con, and then through the web store, crypticzoic.com. And then if you kickstarted it during the Kickstarter for Annihilation 3, you could have just picked up the cards. But they decided they're going to release this for everybody. But I thought I'd show it off so in case you heard it through the Kickstarter and you know it's coming, you kind of see what you're going to get. Or if you see it in the web store and you want to know exactly what it is. So it's this big, giant storage box, which is for holding your oversized champion cards, as well as your familiars and the brand new cards of the Spellbooks, which are being introduced in Annihilation 3. So this is, of course, the Magus Minion Manual Volume 1. There's a bunch of different bookmarks on there. All about what's supposed to look like a book. There's, of course, the middle finger. There's an Epic Spell Wars game. And if we flip it open, inside we have our logos, Crypticzoic, Battle Wizards, and then a giant storage space. So the big spot here is to hold the giant champion cards. So they'll all just slide in there. And then we have two smaller spots for smaller cards. One is so you can put all your familiars. Every wizard champion has a familiar card, so you can have a stack there. And then not every wizard, but they're slowly making them for all the characters. And then they will have various spell books, which are the new card type, which can go in the other half. That way you can keep all your characters together. So if you decide to play your game, you can, hey, I'm going to grab this particular character. You can grab out their familiar, their spell book, and then you can use them in the game. And then you don't have to keep shuffling or dig through a pile. So we will look at the end of the video. We will... I'll show what it looks like with everything together. With all the current content, which is everything that's available from before Epic Spell Wars Annihilation 3. But what I wanted to show off in this video was just all the new cards and how they work, and we're going to go through all of them. But before I get to all of that, I want to show off two other promo cards quick. So this is Wilhelm, the Blood King of the Painlands. A little fuzzy there. And then the other one is Dr. Hannah Zombie MD. So these were two promo cards that were released initially back just for Epic Spell Wars. This is before Annihilation came out. During actually the Castle Tentacle series, which is the second set of the game. For Tabletop Day. So clearly, if you don't know who this is, the Wilhelm is a reference to Will Wheaton, big famous geek game. Plays lots of games. Did a show called Tabletop where he played board games with a bunch of other online personalities and celebrities and geek friends. So of course they made a card based after him. And then the second one is a nod to his main co-star Felicia Day, who's also a big star, but it's not to her directly, it's to a character she played on one of their episodes of Tabletop, which you can check out on YouTube. It's actually pretty interesting. They had a game. They're playing Night of the Living Dead, I think it was. I might have the game wrong, but it was a zombie game, and she gave a personality to the zombies and called that zombie Dr. Hannah, Zombie MD. So they made a card to attribute that specific character for that game. Just kind of neat. So you can pick these up now. I don't know if these two characters, because they're odd promo cards, not like one of the core set cards, if they'll ever get the Spellbook and Familiar. Maybe someday along the line when everybody else has. But I thought I'd just show them off, so if you're curious, hey, I've never seen all the cards, or these are all the cards, you can pick them up if you want, but as of right now, they're just going to be, you know, like regular Wizard Champion cards, basically count your score. Alright, so we're going to hop into what is actually part of the Spellbook. So our first thing we're going to get is a brand new Wizard Champion for Corey Jones, who's, of course, the creator of the game. And it's really fun artwork on his card here, because it has references to a bunch of the other different characters. We have, like, Sugar Puss, Gorzo, Stater Rat, Abracalabrador, the one Lucky Charms, the little Doritos from the second game. Other games that he's worked on, or at least versions of them, Hex, Hot Rod Crepes, Food Fight. We have references. There's a devil, of course. There's one of the Merkings. There is writing in the Spellbook, which is his actual Spellbook. Plus, back in the top corner here, we have the little Cryptic Zoic mascot, the guy with the skull in the suit. As well as we have the new devil statue there. So yeah, lots of fun little references in this game, in this artwork. So really cool. So we're gonna get a new Wizard Champion. I'm gonna just set him back here for the moment. Then the other new thing we're going to get with him is his Spellbook. So I'm gonna turn that so we have that. And then we're also going to get his Familiar. So we have the full collection. I'm going to kind of scoot these over. So I'm going to just put this down I'm going to flip this over for just a second, so we can focus on his Familiar. So this Familiar, of course, is Gorzo the Wicked. It's kind of funny back there. You have him and Corey on there, messing with RS Bixby, the artist, who all three of them now have Wizard Champion cards, so it's kind of fun. So his card says, +1 power, draw 2 cards, defense. Discard just to avoid an attack, heal 8, and if you are at max HP, getting a random Familiar from outside the game. Of course, the creator of the game. He can sit there and, add extra cards from outside the game as much as he wants. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to look at the Spellbook, which is a brand new card type. So, if you followed the campaign, Kickstarter campaign for Annihilating 3, then you probably already know about these. If not, basically what they do is, first of all, they're supposed to represent some type of book. What wizard doesn't have their own Familiar and Spellbook? And then they have the little point symbols on there, much like your Familiar, where you have how much it costs to play and how many victory points it's worth at the end of the game. Same idea there, who it belongs to. But all the books are a little bit more stylized to fit that character. So some of the things are a little bit different. They usually all have the spine of the book, which says what the name of the card is. And then they usually have like a bookmark label thing sitting there. So Corey Jones is the Creative Bible ongoing. When you gain a Dead Wizard token, discard this and place a random spellbook from outside your game next to your oversized wizard. You may buy this new spellbook as normal. So, like, where Gorzo is going to allow him to get extra Familiars, his spellbook's going to let him gain extra spellbooks. So, basically, if you're playing Corey, you can become OP because you can play both of these and then keep getting a bunch of cards from outside of the game that other people don't have access to. So that is really fun. So those are both brand new cards. Then what I'm going to show for the rest of the video here is on this side here will be all of non-sleeved cards, will be all the new spellbooks. It will be in the spellbook, the big giant case we saw. And then on the right side over here where Gorzo is, will be all of the Familiars from previous expansions, whether they were promo cards from one of the other Legend sets, or if they were from the Fantastic Friends set, or however we got them. And then in the back, I'll put the picture. I'll show the familiar of the character first. Or I'll show the wizard first. So we're going to first look at the Ball of Cthulhu. Let's kind of set him back there for the moment. And then we'll look at his 2 cards. So, alright. So, I'm not going to reread this side necessarily or go through all of it. But I just want to have them up there so we can compare them. So, the Ball of Cthulhu has the Necro Namakuchi. There we go. Adult humor right off the bat. So, ongoing, your first attack each turn is unavoidable. Plus 3 power for each player you defeated with your first attack each turn. Nice. So you get extra power if you defeat guys. Yeah, because his familiar just lets him do 7 damage. Yeah, so your first attack each turn is unavoidable. You can't block it. Nice. And you get plus 3 power each time you defeat for each player you defeat with your first attack each turn. So yeah, you can get, extra attack. And then, yeah, his familiar lets you do extra damage. Cool. Alright, so you can kind of just compare to see how they kind of work together. This one doesn't seem like it necessarily works that, directly off of it. You're getting extra 7 damage. You may discard to avoid. If you discard, you may redirect the attack effect to an attacker. Yeah, you basically just get extra 7 damage if you use your familiar as an attack instead, which is nice. That can be very helpful to defeat guys. Alright, our next one up is Cuddle Wizard Sir Kitty Purrington. Kind of set him back there. And we have his 2. So his new spellbook is Volume 4, Articles of Adorableness, with Lord Squeakers Esquire as his familiar. Ongoing, plus 1 power. All the cards in your discard pile are also considered creatures. Nice. So you get extra creatures. And then Lord Squeakington works with that. It says, attack, deal 2 damage for each creature you control and in your discard pile. So now all your cards are creatures, so your attack is going to do a ton of extra damage. Because everything in there is considered a creature. So you can see how well these work as a team. Alright, we have Roach Sauce, Purgatory's Playboy. Of course, a Beetlejuice reference. Alright, I'm only going to be able to put a couple of those up there at a time. I just keep those guys back there. Actually, I'm not going to put these back there just because I think it clutters it up too much. Alright, we'll just look at what we got here. Alright, so Roach Sauce has Handbook for the Recently Horny. Of course, again, Beetlejuice reference. And that is familiar. There's Horny Hank, the Party Demon. Ongoing, this counts as a Dead Wizard token. And then when you're doing attack, deal 1 damage to each foe for each Dead Wizard token you control. So even just by itself, it lets you deal 1 extra damage. And then your familiar says plus 2 power for each Dead Wizard you control. Nice. So that's gonna he counts as a token, so it makes the other one 1 power stronger too. And then if you keep dying, both of these cards get more and more powerful. Definitely fun. Our third characters, we have Faith Ticklebottom, the Enchanter, who will have you can see how some of these cost less and have more experience points, or cost more and have less experience points. So they kind of give you, or victory points, not experience points, but they give you that, maybe it's not as powerful in ability, so it costs less, but maybe it just gives you more VP. It's a good, interesting balance. We have Giggly Bun Slappers, with Poof the Gay Cloud. So ongoing, when you gain a Limp Wand, draw a card, and then you may destroy a Limp Wand. So basically you can get the Limp Wands and you can forcefully destroy them, just so you can gain extra drawing power. And then attack, it says for Poof, it says each foe gains a Limp Wand. Defense, you may discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card and the attacker gains a Limp Wand. So yeah, Gay Cloud's going to give out Limp Wands, and if for some reason you get them, you're going to gain a bonus for it, and you can get rid of them. So gaining them doesn't hurt you, but you can hang them out. So it's kind of a neat idea. All right, Jonah Spark. Rawr. So angry. All right, we're going to have Burn After Reading, which is an unfortunate title, with Sparky's Square of Fire. Her spellbook says, ongoing, whenever you destroy a card you own, gain power equal to its cost. And then Sparky, of course, says, peek at the top 2 cards of your deck, you may destroy one of them. So yeah, you can look at your cards, you opt to destroy them by gaining stuff, and then you're also going to gain extra power. So basically, by sacrificing your cards, now it's even more beneficial if you have your book, because you'll gain extra power for destroying one. So that's a neat combination. The Game Overlord, 80 Arcade, which has, I love the books. They're very creative. The 1010 tips and tricks, or in computer language, 1010. So then he has his familiars are kids. So ongoing, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then discard up to 3 of them. Nice. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So you can just go to your cards and choose. And then kids say, at the end of your turn, put this card on the bottom of the owner's deck. Defense, you may put this on the bottom of your deck to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card and redirect the effect to an attacker. So the idea of this, I think the combination between them is really the top 3 cards of your deck and discard up to 3 of them, is basically put kids on the bottom. And then you can keep recycling it quicker. There's tips and tricks to let you get back to that card even faster. Look for certain things, tips and tricks. You look for cards you need. Oh, I drew 2 starter cards and a good card, discard the starters. But it'll also let you find the kids a lot quicker if you need to do that. So it's not like a direct combination like some of these are, but it's a very good strategy. Mr. Lucky and the Charms. So he gets Gold in Showers, and Goldie is his familiar. Ongoing, whenever you gain a treasure, you may put another treasure from your discard pile on top of your deck. Cool, so you gain one, you get one recycled, so you can get it back faster. And then familiar says, if you have 3 or more treasure in your discard pile, an additional +3 power. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. So it helps you to sacrifice your treasures, because if you have different ways to sacrifice them, or if they have use effects, because Goldie, as long as they're in your discard pile, when you play them, you're going to gain that extra 3 power. But then you can use Golden Showers to recycle them to get them back up, so you can then reuse them and discard them again. So it's a good combination there. Alright, up next we have Dunstar, the Poo Pope, who is going to get the Shitty Scriptures and Saint Stinkus. So ongoing, whenever 1 or more non-mayhem cards in the lineup are destroyed, draw a card. The discard pile is empty. Destroy and replace each card in the lineup. Interesting. And then, so if your discard pile is empty and you use this, destroy and replace each card in the lineup, which now then destroys every card in the lineup, so you get to draw an extra card. So you get get rid of a lot of stuff, then you get to draw a lot of stuff. And then as familiar says, you may destroy and replace the lineup. So right there, you're going to use that, your ongoing is going to kick off. If your discard pile is empty, your ongoing is going to kick off again. Nice. That's a really good way, again, to make your hand very big, very fast. Cool. Then we have Venture, the party dragon, the 5-headed dragon with different classes on it. Who we are going to get rules of the 19740th edition, and the Dungeon Master. I want to say, I'd have to double check this to be 100% familiar, but I think 1974 or 1974 is the number of orcs in Munchkin. I think that's what that it might also be a reference to the year Dungeons and Dragons started off. 1974 might be the year Dungeons and Dragons started. I think that's the reference there. But I'm not 1,000% positive. Ongoing, when a mayhem is played, you may discard this have any number of players excluded from it. Players, you did not include Resolve Mayhem twice. Interesting, yes, you can be like, hey, you and you don't have to play, and everyone else has to do it twice. That's pretty mean. And then, of course, the Dungeon Master Familiar says, draw 2 random mayhem from the discard pile, resolve one of them, you may decline to participate. So basically, you can draw 2 with that. You can choose not to, but also when you play them, yeah, you pick which one you can do it. And now then with the book, Spellbook, you may now opt to have anybody else be excluded from it twice and make everyone else have to deal with it. So that's kind of neat. You can make some extra friends, or you can torment everyone twice as hard. Very DM-ish ability, right? Alright, then we have Snakia, the Viscountess. They're little snot goblins. So we need those as a gang. Alright, so she has Congested, Digested, and Sir Phlegm the Blessed. Ongoing, whenever you are healed, healing additional 3. Discard this to avoid an attack. Avoid all future attacks this turn. That's pretty helpful. And then his ability is Heal 6. You may discard this to avoid an attack. If you do draw a card, heal 3, reject the effects of the attacker. So great. All about healing. Again, there's not necessarily a crossover between them two. It's that, well, I mean, he heals for 6, or his defense can heal, and this will let you heal an additional 3 each time. So it does work that way. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, we have a bunch of these to go. Hellish Huffman and his Band of Rage. We're going to keep moving along. Like, there's 22 spell books. Spooky Songbook. And, of course, Spooky the Wizard Penis. So, ongoing. If you have 4 more spells in your discard pile, play a card in the lineup, Wild Magic stack, or the top of the Legendary stack, then return it. Nice. So if you get some stuff out, you play a bunch of stuff, you can get a grand finale. And then his familiar should be a 3 or more spells in your discard pile, you get 3 additional power. So that's cool. So basically he gains bonus for having more spells played. And they don't necessarily butt heads and like work together, like directly, but they are going to be more powerful because they do the same effect off of each other. That's cool. Alright, we have McRavy, the Highland Magus, in his Highland Maguses. So we have Goldwurst and Chuck Huggus Hero. Oh, that's like his kilt with a little crotch plate there. Ongoing, discard this, put all wizards in your discard pile into your hand. Interesting. And then it says, attack is, familiar says attack, do 2 damage for each bow and each wizard, to each bow for each wizard you control and in your discard pile. Yeah, so you're going to do 2 damage for each one you control in your discard pile. By putting them in your hand, you're going to have more options to do extra stuff. You know, so this will benefit either way, whether you play them or discard them, but it also gives you a reason if they have discard effects or ways to use them up, to get them back in your discard pile quick. He's going to gain a lot more power. So it's kind of cool. Alright, we're going to set these down to the side for a sec. We're going to look at the next one. Kimono Star Pop Demon. With her 2 Oni up there. Her spell book and her familiar is... I like that this one goes up and down. Which is Hoi Hentai. With Weeby Otaku. as your familiar. So ongoing, discard this. Legends cost 2 less this turn and are gained to the top of your deck. Nice. Makes legends a lot easier to get than your familiar. So if you control a legend, attack, deal 8 damage to all foes. So right there, you're making your legends cheaper and they go to the top of your deck, so you're going to get them faster. And then once you play them, your Weeby Otaku is going to be able to use his ability a lot faster. So there's some great synergies between all these cards. Alright, La Biblioteca Azure, Librarian of the Dead. Alright, so we're going to get the Bowie Decimal System and Roman Lock, the Bookworm. So the spellbook says ongoing. Gain and resolve another dead wizard token. Reduce the cost of a legend by 2 this turn. Interesting. So then we have familiar says +1 power for each dead wizard you control. Defense, discards to avoid an attack and draw a card. If you do, you may exchange one of your dead wizard tokens with one of the attackers, resolving both tokens. Interesting. So yeah, this will let you get, basically you're going to be able to get more wizard tokens so you can get your plus power for that or use your defense ability more often. But the fact that you also make your legends cheaper is definitely not a bad extra effect either. Alright, then we have Damsel Distressia. Come on, focus. Sorry, it's got to go to focus all of a sudden. There we go. The Fuck You Princess. She got her dragon, her orc, and her wolves. Alright, we have Happily Never After Spellbook and Disposable Suitors Familiar. So we have ongoing. At the start of your turn, draw 6 cards until you have 6 cards. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Nice. There is a dead frog. And then the disposable suitor say draw a card. Defense, reveal this and discard another random card in your hand to avoid an attack. Yes, you're gaining extra cards. Discarding to avoid isn't going to be bad. And both of them are just going to give you extra cards. Which kind of makes sense for her character. Kind of like, hey, she can take care of herself, so she's getting extra power or extra options. Alright, Centennial Crunch, the serial killer. So our spellbook is Saturday Morning Massacres, and then there's the Complete Breakfast. So our spellbook says, ongoing, when you defeat a player, you may return an attack card from your discard pile to your hand. Nice. So basically you kill them, you can potentially get that or another one back. And then the breakfast says, target foe discards a card at random. And then defense, discards to avoid an attack. If you do, deal 6 damage to the attacker. So basically one's going to weaken, the familiar's going to weaken. If you do avoid an attack from them, you're going to deal damage back to them. And then you can always use that. That defeats them. Now you can return another attack card to your hand. So they kind of work a little bit together, but not, you don't super mesh. But you make some good strategies around that. We have Wizard Man, the Bearded Badass, and Spellboy. So of course our familiar is Spellboy. But then we have, I love that this one changes up the format of how the spellbook works, because it ends up being a comic book instead of a regular book. So you can see like the staples on the side, which are kind of funny. So the Amazing Wizard Man. Ongoing, discard the top 3 cards of the main deck. For each Mayhem discard this way, heal 3. If a wand was discarded, you may discard this to gain that wand into your hand. Nice. So you have some different options. And then Spellboys is defense. Discard just to avoid an attack. If you do, you may put each wand in your discard pile into your hand. So basically the idea is to try and get some wands. And then Spellboy help you get them back if you end up needing them. But also you can avoid Mayhem cards and heal. So you can avoid hazards and you can get wands and make your deck better. It's pretty fun. King Steve of the Rotten Wand. And that one is going to be Hot Itchy Nights and the Stevie Jester. So Spellbook actually has a couple of different effects on here. Ongoing, your limp wands having additional text. Draw a card, attack, deal 1 damage to target player. If you defeat that player, they gain a limp wand. Your limp wands are worth 0 VP at the end of the game, and you can gain a limp wand. That's cool. So basically, you gain wands, and they're limp wands, which are normally bad. But it's gonna make them better for you. You get to draw a card, and you get to force other players potentially to gain limp wands, and you don't have any side effects of them. So that's neat. And then the Stevie Jester says, target bow gains a limp wand. Discard is avoiding attack. If you do redirect the attack to the attacker, which should help you weaken them up so you can defeat them. But yeah, make your limp wands actually do something, and you can keep giving them out to the opponents so that their decks are weaker. So you're not suffering the effects of it, and they're taking more damage. Nice. Kilgore Murderfist, the Death Dealer. So looks like we're down to about the last 4 or 5. The Guide to Gore with familiar Buzzy the Chainsaw. Ongoing, discard this, pay 5 HP to put an attack from your discard pile into your hand. You may repeat this any number of times. Yeah, health. Health is a resource, always an interesting concept. And then with Buzzy, it says your next attack this turn can't be avoided. So cool, you can pay and now make your attacks unavoidable. That's pretty nice. You're paying 5 HP, so yeah, if you can force them so they can't avoid it, that'll definitely make them worth paying that. Up next we have the Descendant, Power King of Legacy. His gauntlet, his gem, and his sword are his 3 powerful familiars, who are the Legends of Yore. And then his book is How to Be Boring Great. That's neat, because there's this gauntlet on the bookmark, his sword, and they don't really show the crest as well, but it's kind of like the chain down here, and then there's like the orb. That's kind of cool though. Yeah, so he has ongoing, discard this if you have 2 or more legends in your discard pile. Play a legend in target player's discard pile, then return it. Nice, so as long as you have them and you've spent them, you can use other people's. It says familiars draw a card, legends cost 2 less. So basically you can buy him cheaper, so then his effect can kick off more often. And then drawing cards that you get to them quicker so you can spend them. Definitely not bad. Alright, then we have Ganjo Shroompuss, Doctor of Conjurism. So our Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Reference, which his book is called Loathing and Fear. Imagine that, right? And then Duke Freakout Esquire. So the spellbook says ongoing, destroy and replace a card in the lineup. Whenever mayhem is played, you may choose to resolve it a second time, excluding other players. So basically, you can force a mayhem upon yourself a second time. And then his familiar says, discard just avoiding attack. If you do pick a top card of the main deck, you may put it into your hand unless it's a mayhem. Interesting. So you destroy and replace the cards in the lineup. Whenever a mayhem is played, you may choose to resolve it a second time. Otherwise, you can look at the top card of the deck and you can keep drawing it. So basically, you can risk getting mayhems all the time. And if you do, you have the option of getting hit twice with it, which some might not be bad to get hit twice with. Alright, then our last familiar card will be for Charmagus. Charmagus Choo-Choo, the Extraplanar Express. And this guy is very interesting. I saved him last for that reason. So we get Riding the Rails of Reality with the Conductor Cosmos. It says, ongoing, discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, gain the Passenger Coach, Dining Car, or Cosmic Caboose. If you already own all three, return this to your hand. Yeah, so discard this to avoid an attack. And you can gain one of these three cards. If you do own all three, basically you can put this card back in your hand. And then wait around until you can use it again. And then it says, Conductor Cosmos. While you control this, it has all card types. So you draw 2 cards, defense, discard this to avoid an attack. So what are those 3 cards? You get tokens. We're going to get the Cosmic Caboose. This counts as a spell and as a legend. The Dining Car, ongoing, this counts as a creature and a treasure. And Coach, this counts as a wizard and a familiar. So what this basically means is you play your Spellbook, you discard to avoid an attack, and you gain one of these tokens. So now you're going to have a token out that's going to mean you always have either a Spellbook and a legend out, a creature or a treasure, or a wizard and a familiar out. Or if all 3, you'll have all 6 types out. And if you already own all 3, you can return this card to your hand and just not have it sitting out. In case, I don't know if there's any way to get rid of these tokens once they're out. But yeah, so basically this deck is going to really be, you're playing with these cards or this wizard, and it's going to really make sense for you to try and get things that play off of if you have this type of card in play. Tokens are single-sided. They do look like they can kind of snap together. I haven't done it, but they can kind of snap. You can put these cards either direction. But that's a really neat little extra concept to have for that. So, alright, that was all of the different new spell cards we're going to get. The 22 of them, plus the extra familiar card. So I'm going to pause for a sec, and then I'm going to fill up the box. I'm going to see what the box looks like with all the cards in it. Alright, so I have filled this with every, currently before Annihilageddon 3 comes out, available spell champion. This is from all the Epic Spell Wars games, the shuffle building game, the original ones, all the deck buildings, all 3 Annihilageddons, plus the Gangbangers expansion, plus the Fantastic Friends Season 1, the promos such as the Two-Edged Sugar or the Spell Slingers, any of that stuff. So if we pop this open, this is how full the case gets. There are 87 current wizard cards. As you can see, I have them sleeved. There's not much more room. If you didn't sleeve any of your cards at all, you could probably definitely fit a few more. But there's a total of 97 planned for after, by the time Annihilageddon 3 hits, not including year 2 of Fantastic Friends, which will probably add another 6 or 7. So obviously this is either going to be right to the top or filled by the time I'm done. Couple of notes on there though also is the fact that that I have the sleeves I got are Continental sleeves, Continental postcard sleeves. So they have this little extra flap in there, so that might be accounting for some of the push-up on there, versus if you use the one that Corey had provided or offered to the game, which have the fold-over flap, but that fold-over might, bulk up one side a little bit more, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, there's 97 total. That's Armageddon 3, promos, and Epic Spell Wars 6. So that's all that content. Then the familiars, there's currently a total of 50. So it looks like I can probably fit about 100 in there. And there's only 22, but there's more of these coming. So, what's going to end up happening is what I can obviously do is take out any of the card or any of the characters that don't have these currently, which is a lot of the Epic Spell Wars stuff and some of the promo cards. Because they are mainly focused on getting all the Annihilageddon characters first, and they went back slowly. Luckily for me, I'll probably have a second box. I can probably do one of each. Fill up this box with some stuff, maybe put in the second box. I might end up putting my gangs, my my different games in there because they play a little bit differently too. You decide which one you want to use. They don't get shuffled in the main deck. I don't think Satan's going to fit in here because his also have tarot cards, so they all might be too big. But we'll see how that works when that gets here. Plus, we'll have the extra new storage box. We can see how some of that stuff works as well. I didn't put the tokens in there, but, you know, you can obviously just drop the tokens in wherever. Another thing I do want to point out, just for the sake of me showing, I currently have all my cards in penny sleeves. So they have the extra little top on there versus if I had a more regular higher grade sleeve, they get that extra little tightness in there. Then the cards are going to fit in there a little bit nicer. So I'm going to see if I can kind of pull these guys out so I don't tip that over. But you can see the penny sleeves kind of like fold up a bit on the edge, where a regular, like, I guess you call them pro sleeve, won't. So once I re-sleeve all my cards, which I am planning on doing, they will all fit in there a little bit nicer. But that's what we have for now. Yeah, so that is the Epic Spell Wars Volume 1 Spellbook. It's a really cool case. Really nice that Corey decided not only to make this, it's really awesome because it was hard to find places to store your oversized cards because they don't fit anything else. What I'd actually done personally was before they announced, not even this, but even before they announced the regular box, which is for the regular shuffle building deck, not Nile again, I bought an extra box of the DC card game, also from Cryptozoic, the deck building game, because it has slots for their oversized cards, which actually fit these guys, the Wizard Champions, too. And I was basically using an extra box for that. But now that I have a special box specifically for this, and then maybe I can use the tome from the Nihilageddon thing to go through and put all my cards in there. I can have everything themed in a Epic Spell Wars boxes instead of having all my cards in a DC deck building box. But yeah, when that Kickstarter stuff eventually arrives, hopefully, next couple of months, I will definitely do some stuff for that. In the meantime, just to toss this out there for anyone still watching, definitely keep an eye on the EpicSpellWars.com forum. Corey Jones likes to post a lot in there. Sometimes he hits up in there more than he gets onto the actual Kickstarter comment section. So definitely hit that if you want to see what upcoming things. If you have questions, you want to talk to other fans of the game, rule questions, see pictures of cards. The people on there are great. We love to help each other out. So definitely check out that. All right. See you guys later. Bye.